Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so the Lakers have a big game tonight against the Sacramento Kings here in Los Angeles at Crypto.com Arena, 7:30, 10:30 Eastern. And man, it's big because we have lost 2 games against the Sacramento Kings, and they're in that range where you want to add losses to them and win the season series in case something happens where you have that be the tiebreaker against them in regards to home court advantage in the playoffs. So it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal in the sense that we have had some teams win around us, and as of late, I should say lose around us. So we have a chance to gain some ground. We're currently in the 9th spot, and Sacramento is in front of us. Dallas lost a game last night that we could be, that benefit from. And so did these Kings a night before last against the Chicago Bulls, and no one expected them to lose. They were up by a bunch in the second half and still lost. A lot of big comebacks as of late. Really, really strange stuff going on in the NBA right now in that regard. But we have to make sure that we play the Sacramento Kings to the best of our ability and not be one of those teams that give up one of those leads, man. So if you want to know what's going on with the Kings, essentially they've lost 3 of their last 5 games. But they did beat some noteworthy teams. The Clippers and the Timberwolves were the teams that they won games against. That Timberwolves matchup, your boy Malik Monk that used to play with the Lakers scored 37 points off the bench. We know what he's capable of, so we won't be surprised if he does something big tonight. Sabonis is healthy, so you can expect a triple-double out of him. If a night is normal, he's going to get a triple-double. Probably the most disrespected player of the whole season. Didn't make an all-star team. Ain't on nobody's top nothing thus far. But his numbers have been better than a couple of them all-stars that made the team. It just is what it is. I thought he was probably the biggest snub for me of the all-star break. And I think he probably has a chip on his shoulder because of it, man. So we're going to have to understand that this is a star, a really, really, really fantastic two-way threat. And he plays strong. He's going to get in the paint. He's about 7 feet. He plays fast, in my opinion. He's a faster-footed 7-footer than a lot of dudes that play the center position. So we're going to have to understand his cerebral nature of getting assists and playing physical in the paint is going to be a problem. And even though he's not a three-point shooter, he has a pretty solid set shot from behind the arc that does tend to fall, especially against us. So we just need to guard him from all over the floor and expect for him to rebound the ball very well. De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is somebody that does a lot of damage to us, man. Every time we see him, he seems to go for about 35, 37 points and usually runs past whoever we put in front of him. Hopefully, we can have some success tonight. Maybe get him in foul trouble or something, because if you let him match foot speed with pretty much anybody in this game not named Maxey, he's going to win. And that's kind of what it is, man. He's just one of the fastest players in the game. And he's under control while being that fast. He finishes well around the rim. He can shoot the 3-ball, get hot, mid-range, everything. He's a star. Another snub in the all-star ballots. He's fantastic. But he has had some cold nights here and there, and he's coming back from injury. He didn't play a couple nights ago against the Denver Nuggets, where they did get beat by the Nuggets by a substantial margin. But, it's hard to compete when you don't have half of your offense, which is what he pretty much brings to the table. So, this is a team in Sacramento that just came off of that Chicago game. Just about everybody on their team was cold, man. That's what the box score told me, that they didn't shoot very well. So it was easy for Chicago to get back in the game. They gave up 37 points to Kobe White, probably who should be the most improved player, in my opinion. Between him and Jalen Johnson, it should probably be. And he had one of those nights that were noteworthy. Coming back against the Sacramento Kings, had a nice crossover dunk on them. So I know they're pretty embarrassed about how that went, and I know they want to bounce back against a team of whom they've had success against, which is us. But we need to show up. We can't worry about who's beating us and all of that. We need to be playing every game like it's our last, play every game like it's a determining factor of whether or not we're going to make the playoffs. Because, quite honestly, it may be. Everything is so volatile around us. Teams winning, losing, you don't know what's consistent, but you do know you got about 20 games left. And they're all against very good teams, including the Sacramento Kings team, of which we will see again next Wednesday, 7 days from now. So we're going to have to beat them, man. We have to beat them, preferably twice, to add some losses to their credit to their record, add some wins to ours, and to ultimately put ourselves in a position from which to get out of this 9th seed situation. 8th seed, 7th seed, we want to climb up there and give ourselves some in-season game cushion if at all possible. So that's really what it is. Hopefully we can climb even further and beyond that, but that doesn't look as realistic as at least getting to that 8th seed. So this is going to get us closer to that if we can win these 2 games against Sacramento and ultimately just take care of every game we have. I mean, if we can go on a 20-game winning streak, we can definitely climb. But the point is to play it like you intend to and to play good ball in all of those games. And so that's really what I'm hopeful the Lakers will do. We've shown that we show up for the big games and tend to fall asleep for the smaller ones, and there are no smaller ones left. We got the Milwaukee Bucks coming up after this. Giannis probably will try coming back, even though he's been out. They've been winning. So, we got to take care of business here, essentially is what I'm saying to you. We can't count on just any team running lackluster against us, whether they have their full talent or not, because at the end of the day, it's the Lakers, and everybody wants to show up against the Lakers. Now, if you're talking about the Sacramento Kings, of course, you got to mention Keegan Murray. Fantastic three-point shooting phenom. Can get deflections, defends well, can get to the rim. Very smart basketball player. Still developing. Tends to have cold games where he disappears. But I think throughout the course of his first 2 seasons, he's shown us how deadly of a player he can be on both sides of the floor. And his ceiling goes really, really, really high, man. So we need to be respectful of his talent. And if he has a big night tonight, no one should be too surprised by that. They also have a guy by the name of Malik Monk, as we already mentioned. We know what Malik can do, play for the Lakers. One of the more pure scorers coming off of any bench anywhere. Davion Mitchell, a fantastic up-and-coming rookie who hasn't really had an opportunity to step in front of anybody, but has done good things with his minutes as of late. He was 3 out of 4 shooting in the last game against Chicago and is a fantastic on-ball defender, as we all know. Very gifted. Just kind of drafted to the wrong team to get the role that he ultimately wanted to play in this league thus far. But still has a lot of upside, still has a lot of strength that he can use. And we need to be very careful with this guy. That's what I say. Don't do too much dribbling around him. He's extremely gifted defensively. And he's just sitting on this bench over there in Sacramento waiting for opportunities. Chris Duarte is another guy that they have that's been playing pretty well. He too shot well against Chicago. Their bench shot well. Their starters did not. So be careful with Chris Duarte. He played for the Pacers, 4-year rookie. A couple years back, he had done 4 years in college. So he's a little older for a rookie, but he's a good role player, not too old to be in the NBA. He's not over 30 still. He's one of those guys where he's coming off the bench shooting as a shooting guard, and you need to respect his talent level. He can have a big game. We've seen him play well. What else? They only have one player on the injury report, and that's Vincikov, their rookie center, who I don't know how long he's been on the injury report, but he's the only one there. I don't expect that he will be suiting up probably anytime soon. So that's what's going on there. Of course, we're still missing the same people. If you follow the Lakers, you're not going to be surprised by any of these names. Castleton, Vincent, Vanderbilt, Wood, all out. We know that. That's just par for the course. I think it's noteworthy to say that our new center, what's my guy's name, man? Harry Giles. He used to play for the Sacramento Kings team. I don't know if he'll get any minutes tonight. If we get some garbage minutes, we may see him. But he did some great things in the G League last night. Had a behind-the-back pass that really set up a nice fast break play. Did some good things, man. He looks like he's in good shape right now, and he looks like he's having a good start to his Laker career in South Bay. So maybe he gets some minutes if it's garbage time. I don't know, but I think he'll want to play well against his old squad. What else, man? Just considering the Sacramento Kings, Kevin Huerter is somebody who could play some defense, shoot the ball extremely well. A Swiss Army knife of a shooter, a shooter that can do more than shoot. He's the quintessential one of that. You could definitely count on him to get some assists, get a couple boards, that kind of thing, get a steal here and there. And he tends to have big games. His role is much smaller with the Sacramento Kings this season than it has been in the past with the Atlanta Hawks and in situations. He has shown that he could play big, and they just haven't really asked for him to do that. But do not leave him from behind the arc. Do not expect that he can't have a big game. Do not be surprised if this is the one night where he goes off, because he's capable. And so I just want people to be aware of Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, all three-point shooters. All three-point shooters. We have to respect that. Harrison Barnes as well. I don't know where he is on the pecking order of their team right now. I don't know how many minutes he's getting, but we know he can play well. We've seen him do it many times over. He's a little older now, but his role is that of somebody who's going to play some defense, rebound the ball, and shoot it as well. So we need to be aware of him and his big body size and how he can bully people if you put the wrong person on him. These are things that we just need to be aware of, man. But all in all, the Sacramento Kings are coming with size. Sabonis, Alex Len, JaVale McGee somewhere back there. They have size, so we need to be aware of that and dress accordingly, so to speak. Don't come down there with small players if you can help it. I know we're down centers, but we need to have AD have a big night tonight. He can't cower against Sabonis. From what people have been saying, he tends to cower against European centers. It is not something I'm proud to say, but the evidence shows us that he does not play well when these dudes come around. So, we had a horrible game with the Phoenix Suns when Nurkic came around. We didn't particularly play well when Jokic came around. AD specifically needs to shake that off tonight against Sabonis. You can't have an off night against Sabonis. This idea that you don't play well against these centers is going to continue to be something we talk about if you're not your best tonight, AD. So we calling on you to do that. We're calling on AD to show up and show out and shake off what is starting to form, which is this idea that he doesn't play well against these guys. So, yeah, man, big night. Must win. The emphasis on must is high in multiple areas. So you don't want to lose a season series to a team you could potentially match up with in the playoffs. You have had a demon against this team, so to speak, where De'Aaron Fox tends to run past you and just consistently beats us. Sort of like the Denver Nuggets beats us, the Sacramento Kings tend to beat us too, especially when they're fully healthy. De'Aaron Fox on the floor, he tends to just close us out with ease, and it's something we need to overcome. And Sabonis tends to have big games against everybody. We are no exception. We need to overcome the Sacramento Kings, man. And, of course, we know that they have a special interest in beating us because of the 0-1 series where they thought they were cheated and all of that back in the day, where we just ultimately beat the only really good team they've ever had as a franchise. So, they look at us as their rivals, their most hated rivals. And they don't think there's a team in this league they hate more than us. And we need to continue to give them reasons for that. We need to continue to take stuff from them. That's the way I look at the Sacramento Kings, Sacramento Beans, Sacramento Queens. I mean, we call them all kind of stuff back in the day. And we ain't forgot about that minor little lowercase rivalry that we had back in the early 2000s. They were nobodies then, ain't nobody now. That's exactly how I feel about Sacramento, straight up. So that's the attitude I'm bringing into this game. They've won 2 games against us, which is something we need to overcome by winning 2 against them. We got them coming back-to-back Wednesdays, and this one's going to be in our house. Let's take care of business, man. Sacramento is a team that they're fighting. They need to win just like we need to win. They need to stop dropping games just like we need to stop dropping games. And given the fact that they got embarrassed in that last one against Chicago and then turn around and get a chance to play against a team they've had success against, that reminds me of us against OKC just now. We had lost to the Denver Nuggets in embarrassing fashion, but then turned around and played a team we've had success against, and we won. We need to make sure they don't have that formula for themselves tonight. We need to give them just as many problems as Chicago did, if not more. And we have the capability of doing that. With D'Lo Russell having played so well in his last game, with the OKC Thunder, he scored 26 points, had a big third quarter where he hit a bunch of threes in a small flurry of time. We need him to continue to play with that type of confidence. We need that from him every night. LeBron James been playing well. He won Player of the Week this past week. Congratulations for that. Got his 40,000 point mark. Congratulations for that. We need to continue to put his foot on the gas and believe in the team, believe in himself to a point where he can drag this team to its highest point. And it starts with overcoming these demons, quote unquote. Denver and Sacramento specifically. We got to win this game to overcome that mindset that we can't stop De'Aaron Fox. That's really what it comes down to. He'll be out there tonight. I think he had 20 and 10 in that
Chicago game, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to bounce back and get to his average of 26 points. We got to try to keep him from that. I don't know if Cam Reddish is going to be available to kind of stay in front of him, if that's who we want to keep on the floor. If not, we'll go a different route. But I do know that we need to play good defense against this guy. I know that. Now, Austin Reeves had a fantastic game. His defense has been improved a lot as of late, but his turnovers have turned up just the same. So you give us something, you take something away. We need Austin to shut down them damn turnovers, man. And that's what it really comes down to. Sacramento turned the ball over quite a bit against Chicago, from what I understand. Chicago was able to capitalize on those turnovers quite a bit. Maybe that could be something we note as we go into this basketball game. DeMar DeRozan had 33 points against them in that situation. Things that we should know about the Sacramento Kings. Their defense is not stellar, even though they have good defensive players. They don't play a great brand of defensive basketball as a team. They look to run the score up most of the time. And so, given that they're 100% healthy, I would not be surprised if they score 120, 125 points tonight, especially if our defense doesn't play like it did against OKC, where it was really strong. You know, which Laker team is going to show up? The defensive OKC matchup version of us, or the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns version of us? You know, we need to play defense if we want to expect to win any basketball games at all, let alone against teams that have already beaten us twice. So, yeah, that's what comes to mind, man. I'm pretty sure I'm leaving some players out in regards to the Sacramento Kings rotation. I don't know exactly who I left out. We got to be careful with Davion Mitchell, careful with Malik Monk. You already know about Keegan Murray and Barnes and Sabonis and Alex Len off the bench and Chris Duarte. You know, this team is somebody we haven't seen in a couple months now. Their rotation is a little bit different than what it was when we last seen them, I'd imagine. But all in all, we still need to get familiar, because we'll be seeing them twice soon, and maybe even in the playoffs, man. So this is a very dangerous basketball team who's limping into this situation, but they have been losing some for which we should be able to take advantage. And so that's what I got to say, man. They're looking to bounce back. They need to stop dropping games, and I expect this to be a playoff atmosphere tonight in our arena with our fans jumping with the intentions of stumping this team out, man. Stumping this team that hates us all the way out, and tying up the season series over the next week or so, and putting some losses under their belt, for which we desperately need to do, and some wins on ours, of course. So that's really what it is, man. Let's capitalize. We're trying to climb in these standings. Let's treat this game like a playoff game. Let's bring the physicality and the intensity necessary. Keep on that trajectory of becoming a better defensive team, and ride the hot hand like we did in the last one, man. And Rui Hachimura, look around, bro. Use your ability to see the floor to your advantage, man. Your playmaking and floor vision was very, very glaring in a negative way in the last game against OKC. We need him to not just look to be a scorer as it pertains to putting his head down when he catches the ball. Look around, see if somebody's open. Look around, see if there's a play to be made, and use your best decision-making to do so, man. That's really what we need from him. I know he was, raised to score, raised to catch and shoot, raised to be an offensive machine. But in this league, if you don't have floor vision, you can be a detriment to your team and a detriment to the play in the moment. And that's really what it's about for me. Look around, bro. That's going to be the words for him. Don't just put your head down and drive at the rim. Don't just put your head down and shoot a mid-range jumper. Look around. Somebody else may be open if you're getting doubled. You know, that kind of thing. He has to get better at that if he wants to be the player we want him to be. He has to. So, yeah, that's what's on my mind. And the last thing I want to say is closing. I talked about closing basketball games in a video I made last night, talking about the Celtics choking against the Cleveland Cavaliers and how they used just about all of the clock. It was like 20 seconds left to go, and Jason Tatum was running the clock down while the score was not in his favor or tied. He was down by one, and he ran the clock all the way down to the last second to shoot a jumper, letting the game either live or die on his jump shot. And I just think that we need to consider clock management and game closing principles for ourselves, especially since we have issues winning close basketball games against the Denver Nuggets specifically. These are things that have, philosophies that have long been lost with Kobe leaving the game and Michael leaving the game. Teams in this era don't tend to know how to close properly, it seems to me. I see rules broken in that regard, that the science of how to manage a clock in the final 2 minutes, when to start making your play, when to hold the ball and let the clocks run out, when to try to play the free throw game. These philosophies have long been lost. And so in watching what was going on with the Boston Celtics last night, I realized that Jason Tatum's supposed to be one of the best players in the league, and was breaking like 3 and 4 different rules in one flurry in regards to closing a basketball game. And I just want our team to understand how we got 5 rings in that era. It's because we closed basketball games consistently the right way without breaking any of those rules. So that's what I want my team to study. I don't know what everybody else is on, but we need to learn how to manage the clock the best way possible so that we could secure victories. A lot of people talk about how hard it is to win games in the league, how hard it is to win as many championships as the Lakers have. And one of the reasons why we did is because we understood how to close games. And so that's something I think needs to be studied by everybody, but I want to make sure we have that in our minds as we go forward, because some of these games are going to be close, and we're going to need to understand that there is a science to the principle of closing basketball games and managing the clock, and certain things you just don't do. And what Jason Tatum did last night, you just don't do. So that's what's on my mind, man. Lakers going to be wearing their yellow uniforms at home. The Sacramento Kings will be wearing their blacks traditionally, just like the old school, the way we like it. And, hopefully we can get a victory. We've won a lot of games that way, with those being the colors on the floor at home. So let's try to take care of business tonight against the Sacramento Kings team that should be super motivated, but ultimately not playing their best basketball. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.